There's days that I'm not motivated to go in and show up, and I maybe am not the attitude I should have walking in the door, and then I see one of my agents that's smiling and happy and something good happened, and then it's that instant of like invigoration of like, okay, this is why I do this.
Welcome, everybody, to the Alliance Group podcast. And we have actually now three-time podcast guests, Michelle and Connor Niebrugge from Five Rings OKC, on as our guests again. You guys are third-time podcasters here on the Alliance Group podcast. I think that might be a record. And Michelle, especially, I know you love
We like to
records.
talk.
Yeah.
And I do like records. I really like to talk.
So thank you guys so much for being here. Just another amazing year. Every time I see you guys, I talk to you guys are, surpassing what you've done before. You finished actually as top 10 in all of Alliance Group in 2025, which is, we have over 10,000 agents contracted at Alliance Group. Finishing in the top 10 is an absolutely amazing accomplishment. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you. It's a cool club to be a part of. We're super excited. Alliance does have some amazing agents, and to be in that group is kind of surreal.
Yeah. I mean, it's well earned, and it's something that we're going to talk about. You guys, more than maybe anybody, you put the work into your business, into the strategy, and into the execution and technique, right? Which is something that we're going to talk about every single year. And you guys are just living proof, from where I'm sitting, that when you put the work into the business just works better and better. So I'm excited to talk about that. You guys are actually coming up on 10 years in Alliance Group. You passed actually 10 years.
Just passed, yeah.
October, right?
Yep.
And for Michelle, it's
like 2-3 months away, May.
Yeah.
We'll be 10.
10 years in the industry. So a little long in the tooth for both of you.
Yeah.
Getting there, right? You actually met through this industry, through Five Rings Financial. Now you guys are married. You have a farm, which we're going to talk about as well. I'm very excited to have a farm animal named after me. That's a first. We're going to talk about that at the end. But let's actually jump in and talk about 2025. Obviously, a record-setting year for you guys. What are some of the reasons that you guys think that you were able to have such a strong year specifically in 2025?
I'm going to start with kind of different than we talked about, but the just don't quit part.
Mhm.
There are a lot of things that happened in 2025. Our big case that we were able to wrap up the end of the year with, all that started because of a client that has been a term and small IUL client for 8 years now, and a referral from them. So a lot of what's happening that we're seeing comes from that don't quit side of still being in the industry, still sitting here a decade later and letting the fruits of even old labor be able to ripen and harvest those. So I definitely think that's a big part that you see and you're like, oh, I wish I had that year.
Right.
But that year doesn't happen year one or year two. That year happens down the road. So I'd say that's a big part of it.
Sowing seeds that were planted long ago. And as you go through a 10-year career, that stuff's going to happen. You continue to plant in fertile soil, and you're going to see just more and more fruit from that as you go along, right?
Absolutely. I'd say another big part of that too is honestly just showing up and working. We continue to hire, and over the years that like new agents, as you're field training them, bring you new clients, and sometimes higher and higher level clients too. But a lot of our business has been built off of all the work she's done over the years of building good referral partners and power partners who are constantly sending us business. So that keeps our schedule full now. But again, it's kind of that don't quit. So right now we have appointments that are set that, people book.
Right.
But before we had our schedule just being filled, we were out building these relationships, meeting these power partners, meeting new clients to get to the point now to where our our calendars are full with appointments. But before, when they weren't full, we were spending that same time
Mm-hmm.
going out and meeting and actually showing up and working, doing the behaviors.
Yeah, it's
Yes, the
treating your
behaviors.
business like a
Yeah.
business. A beauty of being an entrepreneur is you get this control of your schedule. I can do this, I can do that, I can be flexible. Last week I ended up taking a day off to go to the water park with my niece and nephews and my sister, and that's great. And I love that ability. But
Mm-hmm.
so many of us as entrepreneurs take that flexible schedule and we make it a little too
Too
flexible,
flexible,
and
right?
then we don't ever work. And so we have hours. I have a schedule that this is when I do my admin, this is when I have appointments, this is that. And the beauty of being boss is that I can pivot that when needed,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason for success is that most days it doesn't get pivoted. I'm
Right.
in the job when I'm supposed to be in the job, and I'm working when I'm supposed to be working. I try to treat myself like the W-2 employee I technically am of our business, and that I show up and work, or else I get fired,
Right.
if that makes sense. And I think that's something that doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
but because of previous lives, but also previous businesses I worked with, that like I had to have a schedule. I had to show up with that business. I had to be there, that it taught those good habits that have allowed for that to continue. And I think that's a good habit that we have, that we
Yeah.
see people, especially new to entrepreneurship, struggle with.
Yeah, it's something you actually said on stage at Alliance Academy just earlier this week when you were doing your presentation. I think there was a part where you said people are attracted to this industry because we talk about a flexible schedule. It doesn't mean you don't work. You work a lot, but it just means that you can decide when you work and you
Yes.
can flex around things
Mhm.
like family schedules and things that you want to do. It doesn't mean you're working less than the average person. In fact, in many cases, it means you'll be working more, but the quality of life
Yep.
is better because you have that flexibility. You don't have someone standing over you, saying you have to work, 8 to 5, and you can create your own schedule. It's still a full schedule.
And you love it.
hopefully.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the,
Yes,
that's the
that's very
goal.
true.
Right.
We've Connor mentioned some of the things. Hiring has been a
Mhm.
huge part of both for field training and what we do of teaching and training, but honestly, energy and the attitude and what it brings to our agency. We are super blessed to have an amazing, amazing team.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in that they produce and they're great there, but they're just amazing to be with. Their hearts for people. So it's fun to come into the office. It's fun to see each other. It's fun to be at training. It's fun to do things and do life together
Mm-hmm.
versus just being on your own. There's days that I'm not motivated to go in and show up, and I maybe am not the attitude I should have walking in the door. And then I see one of my agents that's smiley and happy and something good happened. And then it's that instant of like invigoration of
that
like, okay,
energy,
this is why I
right.
do this. Because what if I find that person today, and what will that be? So it's that nice little reminder and balance.
Right.
And then the last part I would say is kind of that technique you mentioned. We love Sandler. Sandler is a lot of training we've done outside of. Now, we are very blessed between Five Rings and Alliance and our carriers. We get a lot of great training, but we do some stuff with Sandler training in Oklahoma City. It's a nationwide thing, but ours is there in Oklahoma City. And we love it because it gets us outside of our industry. It's conversations
yeah.
and stuff. And one of the things Sandler teaches is that wisdom comes from evaluated experiences. So not just going, oh, I've had 10 years of experience, but I've had 10 years of evaluating our experience and going, where do we learn next? Where do we grow? Where is the struggle? What went well? What didn't? We call it good, better, different.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, sorry.
More better,
More better,
different.
different. I always mess it up. So what should I do more of? Because it went really well. What do I need to improve and just do better? And then what needs to be different because it sucked.
Right.
And that's looking at an appointment, a quarter, a training, and anything.
Anything that you're putting calories and hours into, it's worth looking at more, better, different.
Yep.
Right.
And so now a decade of that, of learning, of growing, of knowledge in the industry, knowledge of the products, has allowed us to be better with our systems and processes, our knowledge to be better, get some occasional larger clients that come in that happen just because the knowledge and you can see the seeing of it, but also a system and a process that just makes your great, normal, middle American that we are and we love working with become an easier, smoother, more simplified for them process.
Yeah.
Clear is kind, and a confused mind doesn't make a decision. So how do we take things that can be complex concepts and complex and just simplify them down? They really aren't that complicated at the end of the day. We all just like to make them complicated because then it makes us feel smart and fun when it's this ooh ah mysterious thing, but it's the worst thing for our client when it's ooh ah mysterious.
Yeah, I think something that Mayor Asadi, the chairman of the president of National Life, always says is that simple is hard.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you're describing there is actually making something simple can be actually challenging, but
Mhm.
it's going to help everybody involved with that process once you do that. I think this introspective sort of approach that you guys take to your business is something that is a huge part of your success. Some steps that sometimes agents skip because they're just busy being busy and they don't take the time to step back and evaluate their business and be introspective and say, okay, how do we make this more efficient? You guys are masters at this, and I think it's really helping what I was describing earlier, which is that you're growing
Mhm.
every year. And also, you're getting that compound effect, right? You're getting that compound effect and returns on your experience because you're experiencing things and then learning from them and improving processes rather than experiencing things having that be a downer and then having to recover from it. And
Yeah.
so it's something that you guys are doing really well and something I want to commend you on. It's
Thank you.
and you spend a lot of time when you're on stage in front of fellow agents giving advice and talking about things like that,
Mhm.
taking the time to. I'm sure Sandler isn't a cheap inexpensive investment that you've made into your business, but it is an investment that you made in your business, and that investment is paying dividends.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's excellent. One thing that I think you guys have also done over the past few years is, if I talked to you guys 5 years ago, you were very much focused on that average middle American, helping them with their finances. And one mistake that I think a lot of agents, especially new agents, and in many cases it's really natural for them to do. I sell life insurance, so if you're a hammer, everything
It's a nail.
everything
It's
looks
a
like a nail,
nail.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys have really graduated to taking a more holistic approach to a family's finances.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
Sure. So our main thing, kind of when we sit down with somebody, it's really helped us throughout the years of client retention, not having chargebacks, but then actually helping clients hit their goals and building the power partner, referral partner relationships that we have too. So Five Rings has its five rings that
Hmm.
are a bridge to take you from where you are now to where you want to be.
Which is like that's five rings like within talking to their agents, like it's like the attitudes you want, right? It's like love and
Love,
Love. Go ahead.
love, character, courage, energy,
Purpose.
and purpose.
so you
Yeah.
guys kind of see that, you
Yeah.
definitely embody that, but then you borrowed that and kind of changed it for looking at your clients,
Hmm.
and you have what you call the financial rings that
Yeah.
you guys go through. So what are those?
I'll let you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even when you think of it, and everyone knows they should have a financial portfolio. And when they talk to financial people or they Google, it's this big complicated thing. And that's how the rings happened. It's a bridge to get you from here to here. How do we simplify this into 5 steps, 5 categories that anyone can take? So it's that breakdown. So the first is their protection. Protection is usually anything that has to do with insurances and estate planning.
Right.
And we have
And
to
that's the reason it's first is because
yeah,
it's the foundation.
you
We
have
talk
to.
about
You
that all the
have to
time.
have that in place. And as much as talking about insurance can suck,
Hmm.
from health insurance to home and auto to life insurance, and it's not that it's like it's just insurance is that transfers a risk. So for you to use it, something bad had to happen.
Right.
So it's not fun. A lot of us don't like certain kinds of insurance. Love life insurance. I don't know if I'd say I love any of the others,
Hmm.
but that conversation starts because if something goes wrong, our debt's going to pile, our emergency funds, our wealth is going to drain because of that.
The first
So,
thing we do, right, if we're going to build a sandcastle, is like, where do we build this
yep.
sandcastle,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Do we build it right next to the ocean?
Nope.
Let's not do that. Let's protect what we're about to build.
Yep.
Build the wall to
First.
protect it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of
All right.
joke. It's like you're building a sugar castle. We need an umbrella to go over it.
There you go.
So after we do protection, we get to go up to emergency fund and debts. We have COVID really, I think, highlighted it for a lot of people that not having an emergency fund can really bite you in the butt.
Yep.
And we live in a world that we all know that debt is way too prevalent and very high things. And debt does not have to be bad, but a lot of debts are bad debts. Those interest rates are interest rates that
Credit card
the
debts.
best of best can't do it.
Yep.
The best return when we talk about risk investments are actually small businesses. And a small business can still not out earn your average credit card. And it's better than any stock market pick, anything you can do there.
Yep.
So we really want to talk about what's a good debt, what's a bad debt, and getting our clients in a good financial place, both in what to handle and pay off and having an emergency fund.
Mhm.
Because the reality is twofold. emergencies are going to happen. Life is going to happen. If we don't have a plan for it, it's just going to bite us in the butt.
Yep.
And the first thing that goes is usually the wealth building and or the fun. And the
Right.
wealth building usually goes before the fun, which means if I took the time to put together this beautiful plan and I've not had an emergency fund in place in it, I'm guaranteeing the plan we put together is going to fail
Yep.
because I know life is going to happen.
Yep.
So we work with that and we have different steps and goals. We're not making them have all, 9-month emergency fund before they do anything. That doesn't work either, but we do want at least 1 month's worth of expenses before
Right.
we really move on.
Yep.
The next 2 rings we call the wealth building rings, and they are made up of your foundation and your decoration. So back to a house, foundation is going to be our safe stuff that when the tornado of life hits, it's still there.
Yep.
Decorations, the ooh shiny, the couch, the picture on the wall, the picture can fall and break, we still have a house.
Right.
And that makes sense. If you think of it like building a house, you don't go get your couch before you've put your foundation down.
Right.
And we kind of do what we call our teeter-totters to balance what's safe versus risk, what's taxable versus tax-free, what's pre-59 versus post-59, and finding a balance that meets that client. We're very anti-cookie cutter. We want what makes sense for you and your world and your goals.
Yep.
Because if you want to retire at 70, your plan should look wildly different than the person that wants to retire at 50. Just because tax codes and how things are structured.
Absolutely.
And then our last ring is our short-term goal ring, and that can be everything from paying off debts to the family vacation to a new car, sending kids to college, weddings, trips, all the remodeling
Talk
a
about
house.
the things that you want out of life, right?
And we want to plan for that. So when we look at a budget and it has extra dollars, some of those dollars are probably going to a protection. Unless we get lucky and you're paying too much for protection and we actually get to save some. And I say
Right.
lucky because I love finding free money for people.
Right.
And then we're going to do some to long term because we all know that we should plan for long term and then some for short term. I always joke with everyone, I'm not a full YOLO. You only live once, spend it all. I tell
Right.
everyone, we're not promised tomorrow, so we should enjoy today. But statistically, we're going to wake up tomorrow, so we should also plan for tomorrow.
Yes.
And so that's where we're trying to take that extra money and split it for having fun today, but not, making future you like past you.
Right.
And then protecting ourselves. And when it's done fully, we really get to be financial consultants that are looking at that 30,000-foot view and seeing the forest, seeing the path through it. When our clients are stuck in the forest and all they see is trees,
Absolutely.
that we can do that. And it's taking it that step further than just life insurance. And
That's
I
what
don't
I'm-
want to sound bad because I love life insurance.
Right.
But there's so much more we can do and that we really enjoy doing.
Right. And the thing is that, and the thing about that, what you just described, there's a process to building something properly. And when, again, I understand when you have someone who's, selling stocks, they're going to want to go straight to that part of the process. You got someone that's selling life insurance, they're going to try to go straight to that part. And it's just part of what this is what I know about. So this is what I want to talk about. And there's almost sometimes little, sometimes no attention paid to the rest of the financial household. But what you just described was putting together something in the right order so that it's best built, most structurally sound, and best protected. And that is what's going to produce the best result. So one thing I love about what you said is right from the beginning, you're looking at protection, of course. But then right after that is, look, if you have high credit card debt, that goes before even like an emergency fund. Like you should knock that stuff down as much as possible. Once that is done, at least the top ones that are just don't make
Yep.
any sense.
Yeah.
We can't build anything with that. So first, let's get rid of that. Now we go to the emergency fund, then we go to this step. And what happens when you do it that way is the client feels like this is an actual plan, like this is my entire picture, and then they can easier see where life insurance fits and where tax-free retirement fits and where some of these things fit.
Yeah.
And also you guys get to feel good about doing it,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Absolutely.
It's a blessing in a lot of ways. You just have to have the long-term view for it. A lot of agents, I think, get scared because there's times then you're turning down, an IUL
immediate-
sell
right.
because it's not time for that, or you're not doing a this when you could do a that. And it's where people don't want to because it's that very short-term view of it. And we take a long-term view. We plan on doing life with our clients for a long time. We're a decade in and we plan on being here another decade later.
Right.
That I would rather sit through that with a client and do that, doing those annual reviews. Now, it does make your annual reviews even more important to help them stay on path and that they do get to build that.
Yep.
But it really builds a different kind of relationship, which I think gives clients confidence. I think it gives us confidence at sleeping well at night that we know we have advised the right thing. We've encouraged that in the right way. And it sends, honestly, more referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big part. Like in that protection phase, like the only part of the protection in the insurance that we do is the life insurance. We don't do home and auto. We don't do health. We're not estate planners and things like that. But it allows us, again, part of what keeps our schedule full is having
Hmm.
the referrals and introductions coming in, and that's an easy place where we get to sit down with somebody and say, hey, talk to this person who does home and auto, or talk to this person who does health insurance. Let's see if you have
Right.
what's best. And then same thing too on the wealth building side is when we get to that stage too. It's not somebody has couple $100,000 or $1 million in their retirement plan that they have with somebody that they love this person and stuff like that, and they want to stay with them, but they have some money in bonds,
Hmm.
right, and stuff that, and it's saying, hey, instead of saying take all this and bring it over to us, it's a easy way to have that conversation of like, hey, keep your guy, he's amazing, you love him, he's been doing great.
I would love
What
to
about
meet him and
Yeah,
talk to him
yeah.
and yeah.
Let's powwow
exactly.
together.
But
Right.
then this part of your portfolio, like you have this because it's supposed to be your safer place and everything like that. But what if we can put it somewhere that's still just as safe? We're no longer paying fees, and we're going to get better growth than what we're getting in like that
It's
bonds
about
area.
improving what they have. You guys were actually
Exactly.
describing something about, and also serving your client base in a very specific way. You guys live in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
They got a lot of tornadoes and hail, right?
It's
Real
real.
true. Yeah.
So you guys are even looking at things that, like you were talking about roofs.
Yeah, we talk about roof deductibles a lot, and it sounds really silly as someone, again, who never wants to be licensed in home and auto. I never want to do roofs, but roofs happen a lot. Roofs typically don't last past 5 years in Oklahoma.
Which
If you're
blew my mind.
if you're
It's
in the
like-
right areas, I will
like
say,
5 years. Oh my God.
I shouldn't say that's the whole state, but we do live in the middle of that kind
makes
of
sense.
tornado alley where
Yeah.
hailstorms are coming through all the time. And what's scary is a lot of people don't know what that deductible is. They don't know what they're going to pay in that. And that roof can be $500, $200, $2,000 if you're lucky, but
Mhm.
most of the time it's $5, $10, $15,000 is the client's portion of that.
Right.
And if we hadn't planned for that, it's set up to implode. So we live in Oklahoma. I know that's a thing.
Uh-huh.
I know how much of a struggle we're going through right now with a lot of those home and auto insurance companies not wanting to pay out roofs or
Right.
changing things and changing wording
And
that
certain companies being
not great. Uh-huh.
they're right, less great than other companies. So
Yeah,
you guys are you're having to look out for these sort of things because again, you guys are looking at that entire financial household. And even in those cases, you have power partners where you can say, listen, I know you're paying this for that coverage. This guy can help you save money here. Because what that's going to do, anything that's good for their financial household, that's what you guys are
Exactly.
interested in.
Well, and we've spent this decade building these wonderful people. So not only are we able to help our friends that do other jobs, I think, but when I think of my client, I know the team that now is surrounding my client. That if they need a roofer, I know I'm handing them off to a roofer that is amazing and
And
wonderful and
honest and
yeah, all the things you want and need and going to do the right thing for them. If it's home and auto insurance, I know I'm giving them someone that's not just going to try to sell them. That if they have a good
Mhm.
policy and it has things they're grandfathered into or this, they're going to tell them keep that policy. They're not just out for the sell. So both it's that beauty of I get to help my friends that are in industries that serve the same client,
Right.
but I also get to take my client and surround them with wonderful value people that we have got to vet over years so they're not out getting the and roofers are the easiest to pick on. We have people that come from out of state, door knock, are not properly insured,
Oh yeah.
honestly taking advantage of people, and then they close that LLC and start a new one the next time they want to come through. So you can't even sue, we can't do anything.
Wow. Yeah.
And that happens all the time and people don't realize it. So we try to be this, again, we want to do life with them.
Yep.
The parts that we're experts in and parts where we just know the expert in, but we want to do that life and be that connection and that source for that
Yeah.
so that life is easier because they know us and they know Five Rings.
Mhm.
We want that to be a value add where they feel like they have someone on their team.
You
They're
guys
not
are
doing
almost
it alone.
putting together that like family office feel where it's like, you got somebody, basically what you're describing is like, if we can find a way to save you any money within this entire financial household, if I can send you to, somebody who's going to help you cut your car insurance by $50 a month, that's $50 more that is in this financial household that we might use that to put to your emergency fund, which needs to be
Yeah.
built, or to pay off that really bad debt that you have. But it's going to be more to fund this financial household and get everything in order, in the right order.
Yeah.
It might not be something that you spend $50 a month on this, term insurance or something like that. It might be something else, but it's going to benefit the financial household.
I
Exactly.
joke at Money 101, we talk about our financial funnel, and I tell everyone, I'd rather you spend it getting an extra steak dinner, going to Chick-fil-A, like
Right.
blowing it than giving it to XYZ insurance company that already has billions and is not on your side.
Absolutely.
Now, again, I'm going to encourage maybe wiser things or at least bigger goals, but I would still rather you go get
Yeah.
go out and have a great dinner
Yep.
than write a check to a company that doesn't need that check from you.
100%. 100%. So, and in addition to this fantastic approach that you guys have taken, and this very detailed
Mhm.
approach, which I think sets you guys apart. You've also diversified into not just helping your, average family with their financial household, but also specifically working with business owners,
Yes.
right? And I think that's the other thing that you guys do really well. Again, kind of taking this same philosophy of looking at the larger picture and bringing that specifically to business owners, because business owners, Michelle, have you as a serial entrepreneur that you would have called
Problematic,
yourself
yeah.
before 10 years ago. You have lived this, and now with all the knowledge that you've gained in the past 10 years in this industry, you can help business owners really prepare themselves and maybe think about some problems or even uncover some problems they don't even know that they had, right?
Yeah, and that was, I would say, an accidental specialty that kind of happened over the years. And you're right, when I started, I had other businesses. I had a lot of friends that were business owners. So right away, I was being asked questions that related to being a business owner. So definitely started falling down the rabbit hole early years and then have never stopped. From the fact we own 3 different businesses to this day. Now 5 Rings is what gets most all of our time love, but I love business. I love small business. I It does help me stay from starting other businesses when I get to help people with theirs. So Connor loves that I
It
work with
scratches
business
that
owners.
itch, yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It helps me want to, but I get to look at it and we get to dive deep into everything from growth plans to protections to exit strategies. For better or worse, I have fallen deeply in love with people paying less money in taxes. I would not say that I enjoy reading tax codes, but I really enjoy what comes from reading and understanding those tax codes.
Absolutely.
And so it's definitely developed over the years. And what gets a lot of my time at this point, we really kind of divide and conquer. I love that more complex. Now, my degree is in psychological research and statistics. So I love that.
Oh, fantastic.
Connor
Yeah.
loves the more simple side. So we balance each other really well. So I get to spend my time there and realizing business owners are wonderful and they're great at what they do. And the business is the backbone of our country, small business.
Absolutely.
But no one teaches us how to be small business
You
owners.
feel like
No one,
you're out there on your own,
Yeah.
right? You're
You-
literally flying by yourself. It can feel that way a lot, especially as a solopreneur.
And
right?
you start what you do because you're good at that thing. And that thing is not the legal, it's not the finance, it's not the tax unless you're in one of those. And you still typically don't know the other 2.
Yep.
So it's sometimes as simple as talking about not commingling funds. That can be a conversation that's not a product, but it can be the best line of protection if they were to ever be sued to not have done that.
Right.
To talking about exit strategies, how do we set our businesses up to not pay as much taxes if we want to sell it or if we're passing it on to our kids, and being able to dive deeper into that. It's similar that you were saying that we spend time in our business and on our business. And a lot of business owners are doing the same. They're so in it, they don't spend time on it, like looking at it from the outside. So
Absolutely.
having someone that'll stop and look at that with you and go through things is a huge value add. We see that it takes a lot of stress off of things. And I remember that when I came to 5 Rings, one of my very first things was how cool I thought it was to be surrounded by other business owners doing the same thing, that I could ask questions I could lean on, because I felt so alone in
Right.
business. And I had friends that were business owners, but I still felt alone because they were doing their thing, I was doing mine. Half the time we were all lost when it's like, hey, what are you doing for XYZ? Well, I don't know, I'm trying this and I'm not really sure. And then trying to find something as simple as a good CPA.
Right.
So hard. We've spent so much money over the years. I have clients that now we have a wonderful tax firm partnership that we work with for doing tax planning and stuff. But just that alone, that struggle, that stress, and that when you're just a business owner out there, you're like, well, who are you kind of using and trying? Well, I'm trying this one this year, but then like you're
Yeah.
confused together.
Yeah.
And so having that with 5 Rings really became something that I wanted to be able to bring to the table, of taking away that confusion and letting these businesses thrive.
Right.
Because it's sad and scary how many don't get to, and how many business owners are working 80 hours a week and not making a paycheck that they could make, honestly, working McDonald's kind
Yeah,
of a thing.
right.
So how do we flip that? How do we have someone that can be their partner without charging them a whole lot of dollars to be their partner? And I'm not saying that people that do that is bad. Like, I don't want that to be the sound at all.
Sure.
But most business owners won't take advantage of that help because they don't know the value it will or won't add. Versus, I'm here and I'm going to help you for no cost. People will give a little bit of time to see if it's worth, and then the value really begins to build.
Yep.
But it's definitely a passion. It's something I absolutely adore, have for a long time. I love digging into it. And again, it does scratch the serial entrepreneur kind of
Which
itch.
is great, right? I mean, you guys have this this really unique dynamic, and you have different strengths and weaknesses, right? As a couple,
100%.
as really great couples do. You really complement each other really well, which I think you guys have a lot of you have a lot going for you, and it's awesome to see what you guys have been doing, and how you've been not you've been taking advantage of the advantages that you guys have. You've been really working the business, really building the business, doing it in an intellectual and scientific almost way. And it's just awesome to see you guys succeed and have the success you're having.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We really love it. I kind of always say you don't get to your dealt a deck of, a hand of cards, and we're all out here playing the game.
Right.
And sometimes your cards don't look good as someone else's, but you can choose how well you learn the game and what game you play. And I think that's been a fun blessing over time, is that we kind of joke when Murphy's Law is what can happen will happen. I have a good friend from college, and we used to joke he was the good side of Murphy's Law and I was the bad side. If it could go right, it would. Everything he
Right.
touched turned to gold.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, if I could manage to trip in a room with nothing in it, I'm going to trip in the room with nothing in it. Instead of going like, oh, woe is me, I've always said I'm not lucky, but I'm highly blessed. And that's kind of been our outlook, is that we are yin and yang. Even in this podcast, it's obvious. I love to talk. Connor does talk some, don't worry. But we balance each other out. But instead of trying to look at our hand of cards and going, oh, I'm not great at this or I'm not skilled at that,
Right.
woe is me. It's how do we play this? How do we add the right people to our team? How do we balance each other out? How do we
And
learn?
focusing on your strengths instead of focusing on your weaknesses, right? Be positive. It's one thing you guys are definitely. We love being around you at Alliance Group. You're smiley, you're positive, you're the kind of energy that people want to be around. And I think that carries you guys not only with fellow agents, not only with us at Alliance Group, but also with your clients. You guys produce an energy that people want to be around, they want to be closer to. And it's just part of that secret sauce, I think, that's making Five Rings OKC rocket up those leaderboards we were talking about.
And we love
So
it.
before we go, we have to talk about my farm animal. So you guys have a farm. We didn't even mention this. Let's actually back up before we talk about this amazing, and it's a sheep, right?
It's a sheep. Yep.
Fantastic. Let's talk about the farm. You guys somehow do all this. You run your business.
Yeah.
You also run a farm.
Yep.
Yes.
Tell us about the farm.
Oh boy. We like to call it our funny farm.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of everything. It started with bees.
Yeah, the real name is
It started with bees?
Yeah, so
Bees, yeah.
it's a honeycomb ranch is its true business name. And
Okay.
it's technically a ranch because we have more animals than we have plants, and that's just
The
ranch
crops,
versus
yeah.
farm. It's
Oh,
all-
I'm so sorry.
No,
Yeah.
we call
No,
it
no,
a
you're-
farm.
you're
We
good.
literally-
It's- yeah.
we call it our funny
Oh, your
farm
funny
all
farm,
the
right, yeah.
time. So like
Okay.
it doesn't bother us, but that's why
I
its name
just
is.
learned today there's between a farm and a ranch. by
There
the way.
is, and a
is.
homestead. We kind of blend into homestead more these
Yeah.
days, but
Uh-huh.
it's minutia that doesn't matter. But it did. We started with bees. Oh goodness, that was
20.
I thought it was
18,
20.
19.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
2020
So you were
is-
ahead of the bee curve, because a lot of people became beekeepers during the pandemic.
Yeah. So, and I love
Wow.
bees. Bees are the coolest little things ever. I could talk way too long about them. I always joke I can talk about Jesus, farming, finance, and conspiracy theories all day. Other stuff, I'm out. But bees are really fun little creatures. I'd wanted them for years, and Hannah got them. So finally one day I was like, just getting them. We're just doing it. So I just ordered some and we got them. Our true animals started in COVID. That was a
Wow.
blessing we had wanted for a while. And we got our first goats.
Yep. And a llama.
And a llama. Loved my llama. Her name was Como Se Llama. We called her Como, but yeah, we think we're hilarious. It was.
That is really funny.
It is, yeah.
I'll give you that
Yeah.
one.
But we've had those. We love it. I know it's definitely an extra add-on, but honestly, our business jumped up the year COVID was a great year for us. And part of it was having something fun to focus on and work together that wasn't just 5 rings.
Yeah.
And
Or it
it's not,
wasn't just like the negativity of everything that was going on.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so we really were able to dive into things, and it's always been that. It's something we love, that we're passionate about, that we get to do together that isn't work. And I'm not saying that work's a bad thing, but I think it's nice to have things outside of work. So we have our work life, we have our farm life, and we have our church life and friends that are involved in all of those. And that's pretty much our world, but
So you've
we
had
love it.
you started with Stratton, which was a
Stratton was our very first ram. He's what's called a Wiltshire Horn, which means nothing to anyone, but he's a rare breed, especially in the United States. He came from Virginia. He is beautiful, white big ram horns. He is a
Huge.
beefy, beautiful, beautiful boy.
That's awesome. So
Um,
named for Jerry
yeah, it
Stratton.
was named after
obviously,
Jerry
dearly
Stratton.
departed Jerry.
Yep.
Very cool. Also the namesake of Stratton Studios.
Yep.
Um,
See, we all like to name things after Jerry Stratton.
I love this. And then
Duncan came next.
Duncan, of course, after Lee Duncan.
After Lee, and we name our animals and we do them in themes. And so a lot of times it'll be, we've done everything from food to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched the show Firefly, we had a whole Firefly generation. So it's a fun way, and we can keep up with them. And we decided with our sheep, especially our dairy sheep. So we have sheep that are meat sheep and dairy sheep, different breeds, but our dairy sheep will be around for a long time.
Good.
And so we decided, how fun would it be to continue what started with Stratton and going on? So we decided to not play favorites with our families. We'd do it kind of
Even
in
though we know
order.
I'm the favorite. We all know.
We met people. So we had Stratton and we had Duncan, and our very first Alliance Academy, and you probably remember this, I remember it way too well, was after the whole thing, you had said, hey, if you have a question for us, come to the bar, ask us a question, we'll buy you a drink. Well, I had a question, so I asked a question, you're like, let's give a drink. And I was like, I don't care about the drink, I just want my questions. But it was you and Travis and Chrissy. We were sitting there, and we ended up sitting there and talking way too many hours that night. And that started, honestly, our love and friendship on such a deep level with Alliance. And so you guys were the first 3 outside of Lee that we did. So we decided had to. So on Christmas, actually, is when Hal was born, and he is an adorable white, fluffy
He's
guy.
a big boy.
He is.
Yeah,
He's a hawk.
Stratton is his
Like,
dad, and he
yeah.
definitely follows suit in that side. And then 2 weeks ago, yesterday, we had twins born, and those are Disco and Grenier.
Disco and
so-
Grenier,
And they
the
are
twins.
cute as could be.
I wanted to point out that Disco is the black sheep, which totally makes
She's
sense.
technically black and white. She's multiple colored. And she's
Chrissy's
she's
like,
so sweet.
That's awesome. I mean, I can finally, say I can check it off my checklist, my bucket list. I have a farm animal, a sheep named after me. I'm happy.
You've made it.
I've made it. I've made it now. Well, you guys have definitely made it. But the journey's not over. I know you guys have big goals for 2026. What are some things going into this year that you guys want to accomplish in the year ahead?
I'd say probably a big one this year that we're really trying to focus on and accomplish is to be more intentional with our time. We are at a beautiful place and surrounded by amazing agents in our agency that are really stepping into leadership roles, independence, really that confidence level of taking this and being able to run on their own. And so it's allowing us to really, after this crazy year we had last year of like focusing and really pushing and kind of wearing a bunch of hats, juggling a bunch of dishes and stuff, to be able to step back and say, okay, where is our time best spent?
Sure.
Building that agency and really supporting the agents that we have and continuing the momentum that we have as well.
Yeah, last year was don't be a bottleneck anymore.
Yeah.
Being the main field trainers for our agency really bottlenecked things,
Yeah.
and then led to us overworking to try to give everyone the hours.
Yep.
So we spent a lot of, especially the last half of last year, taking we call them our roundtable, but our leadership group, and getting them where they felt comfortable being field trainers and stepping into that. And so this year is the year to push to $1 million agency. A lot of focus on hiring, a lot of focus on training more independent people. You kind of talked about research, and I love it. So we've done market research, and to make any kind of an influence just on our Oklahoma City expanded metro community, not even anything that goes outside of that, how many agents we need to be able to do that. We are very short of that. If all of us worked 80 hours a week for the next 20 years, we still couldn't make the splash with the team we have. So we have to grow our team. And that's what we really geared up last year to be able to do this year. And is a huge part of not overworking us, balancing out the team and delegating and building up real good, true leadership, and then bringing new people on board to be able to have, honestly, in my opinion, the blessing that is this career
Yeah.
of such fun and flexibility while getting to help others, but really be able to make that impact we want to make in our community. Now, we're not opposed to helping people outside of our community. I never want it to sound bad, but my big focus is really working in that world we
Work
live
from
in
within. Yeah.
because it's a great place. We love Oklahoma to a
Mhm.
fault. Sometimes I love Oklahoma, but there's wonderful, beautiful people there, wonderful culture. People are just real and friendly and wonderful. And we want that area to be a state that love to be known as a state that has families that build wealth,
Yeah.
not families that build debt.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. Well, it sounds like, even though all the success we've talked about you guys developing the technique and strategizing, and, it sounds like 2026, it's just more about perfecting the technique, getting better and better, which is what it's all about.
Teaching it to
Michelle
new
and
people.
Connor, you guys are some of our favorites.
We
I know
adore
you
you.
guys, you don't like to play favorites with your farm animals. We are guilty sometimes of playing favorites.
Oh, I
You
have
guys,
favorites.
you guys are just awesome. So thank you so much for coming on for round number 3. I'm sure there'll be a round number 4 pretty soon.
I'm sure.
Definitely.
Congratulations on a big 2025. We can't wait to see what you guys continue to do as you grow.
Thank
Awesome.
you
Thank
guys
you.
for being literally the best partners. We absolutely adore you and could not imagine a career without Alliance. Like truly, it makes it so much better. Honestly, together we're better.
Together.
Well, I knew it was coming.
It is. It is like always been one of my favorite things. So
We
the
say
first
it
time I
so
learned it was an
much.
Alliance thing, I was like, this is the best. So it is my favorite thing to
Yeah.
say around this. Together we're better.
I love it. I love it. I'll pay you later for that. And thank you guys so much for joining us again for the Alliance Group podcast. Stay tuned for other awesome episodes featuring other awesome guests. One more time, Michelle and Connor, thank you so much. 5 Rings OKC.
Thanks for having us.
Listen to this interview and more on the Alliance Group podcast.